Chandrayaan-3 is on the cusp of lunar history. If successful, India will be the first nation to make a soft landing on the unexplored lunar South Pole. But it's the minutes before the landing which will be an agonizing wait for not just the scientists at ISRO, but the entire world.
1, 0.
Chandrayaan-3 had a majestic liftoff on the 14th of July from the Satish Dhawan Space Centre in Sriharikota, Andhra Pradesh. ISRO's Bahubali rocket placed the spacecraft in a highly elliptical orbit around the Earth within 16 minutes after liftoff. For the next 2 weeks, Chandrayaan-3 performed as many as 5 orbit-raising maneuvers. On the 1st of August, ISRO successfully injected the Chandrayaan-3 spacecraft into the lunar orbit, marking the completion of a critical phase in the moon mission. Over the next few days, multiple orbit reduction maneuvers were performed to lower Chandrayaan-3 to a 100-kilometer circular orbit and thereby bring it closer to the moon. On the 17th of August, the propulsion module detached from the Vikram lander, allowing it to descend from orbit. The propulsion module will now continue orbiting Earth for months or even years to come and study its atmosphere and measure the polarization of light from Earth's clouds. Finally, 2 deboosting maneuvers were done to bring the Vikram lander closer to the moon's surface in a 134-kilometer by 25-kilometer elliptical orbit before the powered descent begins. The actual touchdown will be nail-biting to say the least. The home stretch has been described by the ISRO chief as 15 minutes of terror. The Vikram lander will begin its descent towards the moon's surface from an altitude of 25 kilometers. In the process, which is called a powered descent, the lander will start hurtling towards the moon at 6,000 kilometers an hour. Just to put things in perspective, that's almost 10 times the velocity of an airplane. The lander will slow down while its engines will keep firing. This is called the rough braking phase, which lasts about 11 minutes. But at this point of time, the lander is still horizontal to the surface of the moon. In the fine braking phase, the lander will be made vertical to the moon's surface. It was in this phase that Chandrayaan-2's lander faced a technical glitch and crash landed on the moon. Then comes the really tricky part. When the lander is 800 meters above the moon's surface, both the horizontal and vertical velocities come to zero. The lander is left hovering above the lunar surface while surveying the landing strip. Then the Vikram lander will go down further and stop to hover again at about 150 meters. Here it will take images for hazard detection and search for the most ideal landing site. It will then touch down on the lunar surface with just 2 engines firing. Once the sensors on the legs feel the lunar surface, the engines will shut down. The lunar dust will settle down and then the ramp will open for the Chandrayaan rover to be released to study the lunar surface. To ensure that everything goes to plan on the 23rd of August, ISRO has incorporated a failure-based design that focuses on potential failure scenarios and how to protect the mission against any adversities. For starters, the landing area has been expanded to 4 kilometers by 2.5 kilometers. This gives the spacecraft a bigger area to land if things go haywire. Chandrayaan-3 has also been equipped with more fuel so that it can move on to an alternate landing site if required. It also has more solar panels so that it can ensure power generation irrespective of how it lands. The vertical velocity component has also been increased from 2 meters per second to 3 meters a second. The landing process has been made simpler. Chandrayaan-3 will not be making any calculations to find the landing spot. Any correction to avoid objects larger than 30 centimeters will be made at the landing site alone. The big moment which the world will be waiting for is when the lander takes images of the rover and the Chandrayaan rover in turn takes images of the Vikram lander. Then the science will begin. For 14 Earth days or 1 lunar day, the rover will gather data and analyze the chemical composition of the surface, rocks and soil of the lunar South Pole, something that has eluded scientists for decades now.